Sociology is one of those subjects that's not maybe widely known, and I think that it's got so much potential to help people kind of engage, understand what's going on in their lives, understand the wider significance of growing up, childhood, becoming a teenager, going to university for the first time, living away from home, relationships, stuff to do with identity, kind of race, ethnicity, gender, sexuality, all those kinds of things that are going on in their everyday lives.
I was always really jealous of the people that used to do the public engagement stuff when I was a kid.
I'd say my younger years in school I didn't particularly enjoy science. I think that's because I'd never really had any individuals that sort of inspired me or anything like that. So my idea for outreach is to try and sort of impart my knowledge that I've learned over the years to children and adults and try and get them to sort of be enthused and engaged about science. So I suppose that's my main driver.
I think you get so much more from it personally than maybe the students do, so that's kind of a selfish thing. But you get massive enthusiasm. When students engage, it's like the best thing in the world. It's better than ice cream, and there's kind of a real enthusiasm there, and you feel like really warm about it.
I realised I'd never had anyone shadow me in a lab before, because I was always the one that was learning off people in the lab, so it was interesting to be put in the other position actually teaching, and it's a lot harder than you think. Like to go through something that you've done 1,000 times and explain to another person, because there's things that you forget, details of things. So that was really useful, actually. It was cool. And it actually gave me a love of mundane lab tasks again, like pipetting things into tubes, because looking at how excited she was to do all these things for the first time.
There was sort of this latent fear that people were going to respond negatively to it, purely by the virtue of the fact it's nuclear energy and it's quite a controversial subject politically. But the more outreach I've done, the more I've noticed that people, rather than just read what they see in the papers and take that on face value, they really want to engage you and understand like what it's like on the front line and how it's different and stuff like that, and people are willing to sort of take your view on board and stuff. So I've found that's the biggest lesson I've learned about doing nuclear outreach, for instance, and that's been quite empowering for people I know who've been involved in it as well at the university.
It's affected my teaching practice a lot because, as I said, I tended to structure engagement activities very much like a research experiment. So at 10 o'clock we start this, at 10:15 we'll have done this, 15 minutes of welcome, 15 minutes of explaining, and it's given me more confidence to schedule in downtime. And I think that's really important because a public engagement activity is a two-way activity.
I always thought I wanted to be a scientist when I was going into university and doing it. But now, even though I love science, I think I've found out that I love science communication more than anything. And the smile on someone's face, or the look of excitement, or a parent going, "Thank you so much," because their kid who's been misbehaving all day is suddenly just transfixed on something, is the best feeling in the world.